just the luster that is important, it is the functioning of the tissue cell. And you know that it is only a group of tissue cells that make an organ. Therefore, Rasayana will help that entire organ if each tissue cell is maintaining its use over a longer period of time. Naturally, the ability of that particular organ to deliver results will be that much better. It is expected that, and for this, you don't say we have to go a long way to find out. When we talk about Asti Jayate, Vargate, Viparinamate, Apakshiyate, Nashvati, as mentioned by Chakrapani Datta, it's clearly mentioned that there is a stage where we consider that part of the life cycle to be the best. Why best? Because it has the capacity to perform the best. So also is the case of the tissue cells that make an organ. When bhasma is prepared, that bhasma is able to give this particular ability of the tissue cells to stay younger over longer period of time is more, and therefore each tissue cell gets the rasayana that is expected of a bhasma. Bhasma, many of the time, of course you are students of Ayurveda, but when you are talking to your patient, I am sure they will have their own apprehensions because the outer world is not a healthy world. It has done a lot of damage to our science and understanding about our science in the common people's mind. Therefore, it is important for us to make the people understand that bhasma is not just a simple process of burning the material. Unfortunately, many of the writers of the book have also called bhasma as ash of the metal, which is nothing but foolishness. 99% ash is nothing but an oxide. But bhasma, when prepared by different methods, gives the end product which is totally different. It is not chemically oxide at all. It can be sulfide, it can be sulfate, but it is not compulsory that every time it will be oxide. I will not take too much of your time because I am sure you will get bored on this topic. But one thing that we need to understand is, every time we talk about calcium bhasma, it is not equal to chalk. It has its own properties which are totally different. So calcium carbonate, if you consider as a bhasma, is absolutely wrong. It's a different chemical moiety. We don't go into that at the moment because it's too heavy to grasp and digest, but it is a totally different bonding that you will find when it comes to the actual bhasma, and that itself is a huge different arena into which we can go maybe next year with another presentation which will talk about how mercury and other metals are totally different as compared to what is understood by modern science. But these are the steps which have been specifically mentioned in the text. I will not take much of your time on this because I am sure all of you in the second year have learned, but learning is one, and also the word learning of word Shodhan, unfortunately most of the books that we have translate it as purification. But please try and understand, when Shodhan is done, many of the times new material gets inserted into the original one. It does not remain pure at all. So purification is not what is expected of Shodhan. How Shodhan is to be done, how not to be done, we will come to that point in the second part. But Shodhan, again, is basically to rid or control the Khanija Dravya of unwanted elements in it, and at the same time, it is expected to increase the properties and aid the mode of action. So, we will come to the next presentation and you will understand that our science also has what is known as target delivery. That can be incorporated by Shodhan itself into the entire material that we use, but it is wrong to say that Shodhan is purification. I think this is something that can be a take home for you as Ayurvedic students. Please do not try to substitute a Sanskrit word by any other word which is not equivalent. Let us talk only the Sanskrit word, people will follow it. Instead of saying Ayurveda, if we say Ayurveda, then we will say what it means. This is to know. Know about your life. Ayu is Ayurveda. Ayurveda is something that has come from Western side. Let it be there. Let us not get fooled into that. So is the Shodhan, Maran. These are all processes, each one having its own specific activity sphere. It is not like one overlaps the other or one can be replaced by the other. Each of them have their own reasons why it is to be done. Maran is the process where the Khanija Dravya gets focused for conversion from raw to a bio-friendly form. This bio-friendliness is something that is able to allow us to use the material like Bhasma with complete safety inbuilt. This bio-friendliness is something not understood by modern science, mainly because they only have water-soluble substances that they consider bio-friendly. But our substances are not something that will get only absorbed because they are acted upon by all the juices in the body and actually go into a transformed stage, which then gets accepted to the body tissue. Chalan, each of this, I am sure when you did your second year, all of this has been read, perhaps for the sake of exam, but we need to really understand each of the sanskar is going to give some specific characteristics to the material, which in the end will make it more easily acceptable to the body tissue. Dhawan is simple washing, but washing also for what? Washing for removing any Shariya Padartha that may be present in the original material. Dhalan is the process where heating is done of the converted form of Khanij and then it is sifted through filter. Niruddhikaran, extremely important. Niruddhikaran is the process that prevents the Khanija Dravya from attaining its original form once it has been put through the entire process of Niruddhikaran. Putana Samskar, it's not just application of heat, it is a specific pyrometric process to treat the Khanija Dravya where a specific amount of heat in quantum against a specific time is applied appropriately where the pearl goes up, then remains stable over a period of time and then comes down. Now that is what bio-friendliness actually gets built in there. Mardan is crushing of the Bhasma in appropriate khal. Again, appropriate is very important. It is not every time porcelain that needs to be used. Appropriate khal is to be used at the time of preparation of Bhasma. Bhavana Vidhi is trituration of the Bhasma with prescribed herbs to increase and implant requisite properties. And Amrutikaran, which is supposed to be the last of the samskars that is done to increase and potentiate the properties. Now all of this is something that Ayurveda has talked about. The people have done over the years. What was required was that each of this has to be standardized so that every time the product is prepared, it will have the same properties and inbuilt quality. That is the reason why the Group of Operational Standards came into being, basically to standardize everything that is used under the roof of the factory. The objective has been to establish standards for Ayurvedic products using state-of-the-art technology without in any way compromising the Ayurvedic principle and ethos to ensure quality and safety. Now this being the motto of standardization, it was never possible to standardize all the materials at a time or all the materials with the same speed. It took a long time, and that is what evolution is all about. You cannot on one day decide that from tomorrow everything will be standardized. It's an ongoing process because at this point of time, let me also tell you that even the Shodhana Dravya has to be standardized. When a Shodhana Dravya is standardized, naturally the end products will also come much more standardized. And that's the beauty of the science, science has always told one thing that is to be done every time. We have to standardize once, and once it is standardized, it has to be followed throughout. That's the trick of success. This is the research team that has been working behind the curtain. Why is it shown? This is a team which has multifarious disciplinarians. There are even scientists from Bhabha Atomic Research Center who have got collaborated with us. Why? Because we wanted the most modern and latest of the technologies also to be used to understand what actually undergoes change when we talk about a simple process like Bhavana. Bhasma Pariksha, I will not take again your time. All the Bhasma Parikshas have been given, but very, very simple Bhasma Pariksha. Kata isime kurvante grantagre samanike sati rajata yojani prayoge rasopadasa loha churnani. We were fortunate to have a complete textual matter written down by none less than Damankar Shastri. So Damankar Shastri was one who had worked at the shop floor level at Dudpapeshwar for over 25 years, and the beauty of his work was that every time whatever he did, he maintained a perfect record with why and why not written down, which we have with us. We call it Aushadhi Patha Chintamani, and from that has been published Ayurvediya Gunadharma Shastra that has now been approved at many of the university level also. What is most important is that this is coming from a person who was actually working the whole day and in the evening staying in the same campus, would jot down all the things that he did and why he did. Now this is something that I don't think many of us are in a position, mental setup to do even today, because I don't find many people writing down as to why I gave a particular medicine to this person on a particular day. We think it is to be given, we give it. That's perfectly fine, but when there is a challenging case and we give it, then we realize that perhaps this is where we actually tickled the Samprapti Bhava could be done. That is in the hindsight also that can be found out. This is Rekha Purnappa. You can see that the fine particles of Bhasma have got themselves lodged in the print of the Tarjani. This is what it looks like, which is a mark of excellence in Shastra Shuddha Bhasmikaran. And this is the final mark of excellence in Shastra Shuddha Bhasmikaran, that is, not only is the Bhasma Varikar, but it is Uttam also, because the right grain is floating on top of the Bhasma when it is spread on water, and you can see that this is the so-called primitive method that was used by our seers. Even today we need to use the same, because every Bhasma has to pass all these tests if we really want to make it completely safe. The use of modern parameters are also important, like atomic absorption spectrophotometer to confirm the quality. I'll come to that later. Toxicity studies have to be done to standardize and to put into operation a particular SOP, that is standard operation procedure, so that every time you do the same way, the end product has to be completely safe. And thin layer chromatography and Namburi spot fingerprinting tests we will come to. This is the monitoring purity at elemental level, that is 1 in 1 billion atoms can be detected to be present or absent in this machine, and that is why atomic absorption spectrophotometer is extremely close to our heart, not because we have to spend a lot of money to get it, but it is able to give us the purity profile of the end product perfectly. This is the quality confirmation. We believe that whatever is the input, if that is standardized, then and then alone we will get the end product standardized. And that's the reason why every input material, especially from the herbal side, is tested on infrared spectrophotometer. This is the pyrometric graph marking the process consistency. This is the graph. You can see the going up of the temperature and coming down of the temperature. This is the graph that can be plotted. I'll show you how it is attached and it is inbuilt with the processing itself of Suvarna Bhasma and of course other Bhasmas also. This is the same data converted into a line graph. You can find it's almost, and this is where we are working with bhatti. This is where we are working with something that cannot be controlled like electricity. Even at that time, we find that if the same number of what we call as shenya are put in the bhatti, you will get the same type of graph of heat curve as you can see for 5 different batches. This is the same that has been plotted. This is Namuri spot fingerprinting. Professor Namuri, ex-DG, Director General of CCRA, is the one who had invented this and extremely efficacious test to confirm a particular atom or particular substance being present in a bhasma. This is the methodology that has been known as Namuri spot fingerprinting with a particular chemical treated paper. When you put the bhasma right in the middle, you will get concentrated circles of a particular color that match only with that bhasma. Now this is something that has been already explained in a book that has been published by CCRA, and the reference, it is again one of the best reference books that the government has ever come out with. This is the confirmation, batch-to-batch consistency at every point of time, not less than 95% Bhasma, 95% Suvarna will go in Suvarna Bhasma. Not less than means it can be more. This is what we have set as the minimum standard. Now we are upping our antenna, upping our benchmark to 97%, which means that 97% Suvarna will be present in Suvarna Bhasma. Whatever remains of 3% to find out the total balance, it is all herbal thing that goes into the entire processing. The importance of animal trials was understood even by Sushrutacharya, because he has talked about use of various animals to assess the toxicity of products, and therefore animal testing is something that we don't have any objections about. Naturally, it needs to be done not on every batch every time, but standardized protocol demands, and with CGMP and GMP in place, that is good manufacturing practices, we have to have, say, a every fifth batch tested for toxicity study also. And we have found that even when very high dose of Bhasma is given, prepared in a proper way, we found that there has been absolutely no toxicity in the laboratory animals. We believe what Kalidas has said is applicable to us. Puranam itteva sadhu sarvam nachapi kavram navasya vasyam manta parikshat anyaparat bhajante mudha parasatyaya buddhi. Whatever is good of the past and whatever is good of the present needs to come together, and therefore the methodology remains the age-old one, but we are ready and open to check it on all the modern parameters so that we can talk to the world in their language to tell them as to what exactly a Bhasma is. Therefore, we are rooted in tradition, but we consider it is necessary to be ready for tomorrow also. I'll take you through the entire process of Suvarna Bhasma in the next 5 minutes. Very important. If you find a particular patient not responding to any of the treatment, including Panchakarmas, in such cases also do use Suvarna is what they talk about, which means even in cases, it does not mean that make the patient suffer all along and then use. It means that even in most complicated cases, Suvarna is able to give better results. But if the Suvarna is not perfectly done, it is not the perfectly selected one, the method is not proper, then Saukyam Viryam Balam Hanti Roga Vargam Karoti Cha Ashuddham Aprutam Swarnam Tasmat Shuddham Cha Manaye, which means that even possible side effects were known to the seers who wrote Rasa Ratna Samuchaya. This is something that our Ayurvedic students basically have to understand, because their counterparts will say, how is it that you don't know about side effects or reactions that can be there? It's not so. It is very clearly mentioned not only for Suvarna but for each and every Bhasma. You will find very specific differential disease profile being given by the peers to say that if the Bhasma is not properly prepared, these are the possible defects that can be exhibited by the Bhasma onto the body of the patient. And that means that our science also knew the pros and cons. It is not unknown to us that if it is not properly prepared, the Bhasma can be bad. If it is properly prepared, it is nothing but Amrit. And therefore, when we select the method, that is very important. It's unfortunate that when we actually came out with this presentation about 10 years ago, everybody talked to us and said, why is it that the method is so important? Please try and understand, all of us are Ayurvedic faculty, and let us know very clearly, Lohanam Maranam Shreshtam Sarvesham Rasavasmana Mulini Madhyamam Prahu Kanishtam Gandhakadiri Aridohena Lohasya Maranam Durgunapradam. Why is it that they have said this? When the peers say something, it means a lot. They have said that by a particular method, if you prepare, it will be the best. And they have not left it at that. They have said there is another method which will give you a mediocre type of Bhasma. And then there is another method also which will give you Durgunapradam, which means that this categorization of complete safe, questionable safety and unsafe was also very clearly understood by them. And that is what is very clearly mentioned here by Rasala Mukamuche. And therefore, the textual reference also is very, very important to be selected by which method the Bhasma is to be prepared. Swarnacha Dimam Sutam Amlena Samartayet Tatkola Kasamam Gandham Adhasyat. I know it's too much of Sanskrit for all of you, but what I am trying to suggest in this slide is that each and every line of this can be broken down into steps. When we say this is the methodology given, we will show you how this can be easily broken down into steps that need to be followed, and then you get the Bhasma, which has been explained as Niruktam Jayate Bhasma Gandho Deya Punah Punah. So it is not just one Gandha that is used. It is 14 times over, very clearly mentioned, Utan Neva Chaturdasha. So everything is specific. This is for those of Ayurvedic students who feel that in Ayurveda there is no specificity. There is nothing that is specifically given, it is all vague. It is not so. They have been extremely specific. It is for us to understand. Now this entire stanza of 5 lines, when it is broken down, you will get the steps by which the Suvarna is converted into Suvarna Bhasma. We start with this type of Suvarna where 99.999% purity is impregnated. However, it's important that we at our end also check it on the atomic absorption spectrophotometer to confirm that even 1 in 1 billion atoms, if there is impurity, that needs to be checked. After that, it is converted into this type of a paper thin ribbon. This paper thin ribbon is important because if you go back and look at the text reference, it says Kartarya Karta Itvacho. Now why is it required? Because it is expected that you cut it with scissors. Now when we talk about cutting the gold ingot by scissors, it's not possible. The ingot is the one that you saw as what in common parlance is known as biscuit. You cannot cut it, therefore it needs to be converted into this type of a ribbon, and then as mentioned, Kartarya Karta Itvacha, you can see this actually being cut into bits and pieces because it's extremely thin ribbon of gold. This is then mixed with Bharat. You will see this. I don't know how many of you have attended WAC at Bangalore. there also we try to show as to how exactly this bolus gets formed. You will see there is trituration done even at industrial level. Even today, we need to do this trituration like this itself, only manually and by hand, because you will see this is the only step in which Parada, which is in liquid stage, and Suvarna, which is in solid stage, in Patra form, gets converted into what is known as the bolus. You can see that no mercury comes out of it. This is a complete mixing that takes place, and that's what is expected to be done. This cannot be done by any of the machines. Even today, you will find this person has been doing this particular work itself for more than 16 years at a stretch. And you can look at the veins that have come prominent. Why? Because every time he has to exert that much pressure, and this is his daily routine. He comes in the morning and in the evening he is doing this, because this bolus has to be done perfectly and for different batches that are going on. This is the placement of amalgam. Again, according to the sutra, it is said that you have to keep it in gandak, and the remaining half part of gandak has to be put on top of it, and then kapalmitti is to be done. This is the way the Sharao Samputikaran takes place. Even today at industrial level, same method that has been mentioned has to be done, and then this is put into Kukkuta Kutta. Now here is a slight important point that needs to be pointed out, and that is this particular rod that you see. This is the innovation, or this is the addition that has been done basically to keep control or to keep an eye on the temperature curve, so that the temperature goes on appropriately and comes down. You will see later, this is the first Kukkuta being given. After that, and you have seen before the Kukkuta, this is the condition of that golak and gandak, and after the putta is given, this is the just rate bhatti. You will see the temperature is also marked here as 32. That was the room temperature. The Agni is on top. That still not reached. So the temperature shown by the graph is also 32 only. And after this is completely done, and you open the entire parad or Sharao Samput, this is the entire look of that bolus. The entire bolus with gandak has undergone transformation. This is the first put given. Again, mix it with the same amount of gandak. This is what the text has talked about. Gandodeya Puna Puna. 14 times over the putta is done. This is addition of gandak again. The second lit bhatti, you can see here the temperature is shown as 636. It goes up to about 850 and then starts cooling down again. This is the second putta. So this process continues. The Shastra processing is continued. Chaturdasha, that is 14 times, and at the end, whatever we get is converted into Amritikaranized Bhasma. This has been written by Jala Nigraha, that is to remove any undesirable residual impurities, if at all they are there, from the Bhasma in its final stage of manufacturing. Then Amritikaran needs to be done. After that, it is used either as it is packed either as Suvarna Bhasma or goes into the product that is known as Suvarna Kalpamid. Not before. It is certified by the factory attached laboratory that it is perfect in all respects, that is Ayurvedic as well as modern parameters. You can see Rekha Munako, Bari Taratva, etc. are Ayurvedic, and the rest are the modern parameters. This is Rupakeshwar Manak or standards that have been applied for manufacturing process. We come to the Suvarna Kalpa. This is the way they are actually used. The Suvarna Kalpa that we usually use are like Dharpat Chuntamanigas. I'm sure if you are second year, third year students, then you know, all of you, as to why it can be used. It is not only in case of Rudrok, it is also useful in Vataja disorders of various types. Vasanta Kusumakar has again extremely effective, not only as an anti-diabetic, which is a fallacy, which is what the people have been talking about, but more important than actual sugar level is the complications that come about in a patient of diabetes. For that reason, this is wonderful medicine. Suvarna Malini Vasanta, extremely efficacious to improve the Vyadhik Shamatva, and that's the reason why the text talks about Sarva Roge Vasanta. Usually when we read it, we laugh at it, but Sarva Roge Vasanta means in any of the disease. Naturally, it is the immunity that has gone down. If immunity is to be increased, Suvarna Malini Vasanta is the drug of choice. Sutta Shekhar Ras, I don't have to explain, I'm sure all of you know, Sutta Shekhar Ras is extremely useful, not only in what is known today as Amla Pitta, but also in much more chronic conditions where we find Pitta not only in Virakavastha at the level of the Amashay or Annavasrota, but having its effect all over the body. The Karshya that one gets over a period of time because of Pitta Vikruti can also be treated very well with Sutta Shekhar. Mahalakshmi Vilas, again, chronic comfort disorders, Brahastasturi Bhairav. I am not going to take too much of your time on each of these. I am sure all of you are aware of this, and of course your faculty is very much capable of handling all of this. Brahastasturi Bhairav, again, very useful in conditions of what is known today as pyrexia of unknown origin, where the medicine, the fever doesn't respond to any of the other standard antipyretics, as we can call from Ayurvedic side. Jayamangal, very, very effective in conditions of sickle cell anemia in Jharkhand, and such cases sickle cell anemia is very, very common. In such cases, they have tried it and have found to be very effective. Shwasakash Chintamani, as the name suggests, is extremely chronic condition of Shwasa, and to the extent that these are all private. I'm sure in Garbha Vijnana also you have read about Bija Bhagaha Upatatto Bhavati. If Bija or Bija Bhava, that can be considered as a chromosome, if even that gets afflicted, the next generation can have the problem. In such conditions, I find Shwasakash Chintamani Ras in cases where you find people giving a history of lineage. Like my mother, her mother had asthma. This is something very, very common. These cases are not restricted only to cities or to rural areas, it is all across, including foreign countries. In such cases, Shwasakash Chintamani Ras can be very effectively used appropriately in different conditions. Sutika Bharangas. Sutika Bharangas basically works for Sutika. We have tried it and very successfully in polycystic ovarian disease, and we have found it is a residual dosha, sanchiti at the level of the ovary. So I am not going to take your time on that as to why we thought of it and we did it, but Sutika Bharangas is something that is very effective in polycystic ovarian disease, a type of disease that is increasing rampantly, at least in urban areas. I do not know about this part of the country, but it will be perhaps okay. Suvarna Bhasma, I don't have to detail too much about Suvarna Bhasma, as you know, many, but what has been done is, and this is a practical difficulty that I found when I used to give the patient the dose in half rasti, or the dose in a particular given combination, like in case of Suvarna Bhasma, it is 15 milligrams. Now 15 milligrams to be given to a patient is very, very difficult. They have come out with Suvarna Bhasma tablet by which exact 15 milligrams goes into the stomach of the patient. Naturally, this also has been possible because of the standardization that we could do with the other materials. Makargos Butika, again, extremely efficacious. It is not just, it is a fallacy to say that it is an aphrodisiac, because aphrodisiac is considered to be one that adds to the sexual potency. It is not so. Basically, it has its action at the Shukra Dhatuvagni level, and that is where basically we find that if Shukra Dhatuvagni is treated well, naturally the Shukra, Bijanu are of a better quality, and therefore wherever we talk about Bija Bhaga Upatatto Bhavati, that is where we can use it with great efficacy. Chaturmukha in various chronic Vata disorders. Yogendra extremely effective in joint disorders, including, of course, many people in North India use it for Hridroga also. The purity is something that can be guaranteed with age-old mastery of Ayurvedic pharmaceutics. Modern validation methodologies and methods are used to quantify excellence, and therefore it is the purest product. Safety because of the continual monitoring of Shodhan Vidhi, very, very important. I am sure you must be all aware there has been a wonderful book by Bhamankar Shastri about Ayurvedic Shodhan Vidhi. Now that is almost extinct. It is not available, and we have taken on ourselves to reprint the whole thing, because the next generation, or for example, I am sure many of you know that Ayurvedic Aushadhikaran that has been republished had to be published. Why? Because when I was student at the second year level, my sir told me, you have to sit here and read. You cannot change the page. Whenever you need to change the page, call me, I will do it. The reason was that the page was very brittle. It was printed years ago, in 60s. We have reprinted it. Now we are on to reprinting Ayurvedic Shodhan Vidhi. It's a very small, concise book, but it talks about the Granitva of each of the Dravya, how it changes. And that is one concept which is not very specifically mentioned in Ayurvedic text, that is like Charaka Samhita, etc., but has to be appropriately conjointly read. I'll come to the next also. In Google I'll show you how exactly that has been proved to be effective. Efficacy, of course, many people talk. Has Soothsaker been tested on rats? Why should it be tested on rats when it has been proved effective in human stem cells? So that is something that we don't really understand. Efficacy of Ayurvedic generic products. The question is like asking for the validation of Amrut itself. If you conceive, we have found that there have been total loyal patronage to these products, because these are age-old techniques and methodologies. When we have a standardized product, it helps the end result also. Now after this, there is a presentation. Can I go ahead or to the board? So, with the permission of all, I'll go over to the next one. I'll go a little faster on this so that you are not absolutely bored. This basically is a presentation that was done after Suvarna Kalpa was shown to many people. So there was a demand, or rather a little criticism, that you are the people who have only standardized costly products. The cheaper products have not been standardized. It was not so. Suvarna would be completed. The standardization of Suvarna would be completed earlier, because there it is more of metals and minerals that are used. Whereas when it comes to herbals, it took longer time, because herbals, according to the season they change, according to the climatic zones they change, and therefore we took a longer time. But the concept that has come out from this is something that I am sure has a lot to do with Shodhan Vidhi that I talked about, because the text has also talked about it, and we can actually see it happening. Even with modern technical methodologies also, we can reconfirm the whole thing. This is a presentation which basically came after the first one, and that's why this slide was there. Now, we present the second chapter in our quest for excellence in Ayurvedic generic formulation, which are safe, standardized, efficacious, and Shastra Shuddha Google Kalpa. Now, please try and understand that as Ayurvedic physicians, why is it that we have to have our ears absolutely to the ground level? The reason is that wherever there is a problem that is felt in the market, it has to come to the ear. And one of them was that when we find the word called Suvarna Kalpa, and this is something, I'm not boasting, but Suvarna Kalpa was never the word used earlier. We made this word Suvarna Kalpa for a range. And then there were very senior, very, very respectable Ayurvedic physicians who questioned us, saying, why did you call it Suvarna Kalpa? Granth mein to aisa nahi likha hai, and there is a majority of North Indians who had this question on top of their mind, including those who have been very, very respected ones. all of you, I'm sure, have read Charak. And Charak Samhita talks about a particular sutra which says, यदि येन प्रधानेन द्रव्यं समुपसृज्यते तत्संज्ञकार्थ योगो वै भवति इति निश्चयः. If there is in a combination one particular substance that is of greatest importance, then that substance can give its name to the entire combination. And that is what the entire logic is for formulating this word Suvarna Kalpa or Gokul Kalpa or Rasa Kalpa. These are the most important ingredients that are able to give the name to the entire Kalpa range. So in Gokul Kalpa, as I said just now, this is the Kalpasthan quotation that very clearly says that whatever is of the greatest importance can be used as the name. Evolution of Vaisheshika Kalpana, I am sure all of you have by heart this shloka, Athaka, Sarasa, Kalka, Swatashtengo, Pantako, Vinayakshaya, Panchete. But why this kram? Laghavasu Yakottaram. Out of that came Churna, Stanta Shushkam Yatrogam Sutishtam Saptagalitam, Tatya Churnam Najakshoda, Tanmatra Kashamita. But when it comes to Churna, we found that Masa Dvaya Tathahi, Churna Hina Vidyapam Apteya. That means 2 months or a little more, maybe 6 months, well back 1 year. But after that it becomes Hina Vidya, and therefore it was converted into Devat Sajjate Vajno Gurava Shatraratva Gukul Urvakshite Tatra Churnam Tannirvitavati. So Gukul here is one of the ingredients for making it a tablet. Like Guda is there, like Shankara is there, but in Gokul Kalpa it is not so. Gokul is one of the most important ones. This is the type of Gokul we actually, I don't know how many of you have actually seen Gokul plant in situ, that is in a structured fashion where it is actually located. Usually it is in this fashion that we see, and that is the reason why we basically went to, I will tell you how a person never connected with Ayurvedic manufacturing like me also gets involved in this, because if you are Ayurvedic minded, naturally you are behind a particular thing to find out how it happens. This was the time when there was skirmishes on Indo-Pakistan border, and the border was sealed. Then we came to know. We boast of many things, saying Rajasthan and Bhuj and Kutch is the area where we have lot of Gokul, but it is not so. Gokul is extremely scarce there. You will find there are certain areas which are known as Marubhumishi Gayante Prayasha Purupamādapa. That is Marubhumi. That is nothing but a complete Registan type of thing. But that is not just in Rajasthan, it's also in Pakistan. Going to the extent that many of the times it is from Afghanistan that we actually get the Gokul, because basically the utpatti of Gokul is extremely slow, and we have very recently planted, the country has very recently planted huge number of trees, but it will take 6 years for them to grow and then start giving Gokul. And again, Gokul is not available throughout the year, as you will see, and this is not something that we came to know now. The text has talked about it years ago. This is the type of Marubhumi that the text has talked about. This is the actual picture of that area from where we get it. Marubhumishu Jayante Prayasha Purapadapaha. Purapadapaha is Gokul, and this is the scenario from where we actually get it. Again, it is only twice a year. Mano Mayukai Santapta Vishme Muchati Gokulam Himanvite Hemante Cha Vidinatam Samachare. Only twice a year, in Grishma and in winter, Hemant, you will get it. And that's the reason why scarcity is really, really great. That is the reason why contamination of the material is also huge. Again, the text talks about different types of Gokul. I will not take too much of time of yours, but it is very clearly mentioned. And that is basically an answer for those who say that Ayurveda is vague. It is not vague. We have not clearly understood the ethos. Ayurveda is very specific, saying that Visheshana Manushyanam Kanakaha Parikirtita. So Kanaka type, that is something that has a luster like gold. It may not be gold. Luster like gold, that is Kanaka type. Kadachit Mahishakshasya, the other one that can also be used But that's not the best one. Is Manishakshar. That is having color of the eyes of the Manishi. We have entered into direct linkages with cultivators, and this is not basically to tell you what we have done. This is basically to tell you that if we are dependent on Google, then we also need to understand what exactly goes into the entire processing. Right from procurement to the end product is what you will be seeing here. So this is the way the actual direct cultivator can be transferred, by which they are ready to give us. So we become their sole purchaser. Naturally, they are ready to give. They go on increasing the rate, that's fine. But the quality is confirmed because they have identified the plant from where they actually get it. And this is what is known and for you, because you will be exposed to that later. This is a terminology that is coming in from the West. They call it farm to farm. That is FARM farm to PHARM farm. That is from the farm to pharmacy. So this is the technical way in which one will have to, because I'm sure many of you who are sitting here are going to select those branches which are not even heard of today. The branches are multiplying daily. So these are the very important points that we will come across. When we talk about Shodhan, why is Shodhan done? Shodhan is done as Rasakarani says, Uddishtari Aushadai Sadhan Kriyate Peshana become Mala Vichitare Yasu Shodhanantara Yoshite. What is Mala? Mala is the unwanted material. Mala is not a waste product. That is a wrong translation that has creeped into our books that have been translated only keeping Yoshadatu Mala Vijnana physiology in mind. But as a rule, Mala is something that is not expected to be present, that is not wanted. So unwanted material is Mala. So that is the reason why Shodhan is supposed to be done. Mala Vichitaya Yasu, that is to remove, to extract out the Mala, that is unwanted part. If not done properly, Ashtanga Sangraha talks about Bhutan Vidya, so the Matro Mekta. I am not going to take too much of time. But Sinravadana Shodhan, Yudhatan Ashami, so many types of diseases can take place if improperly shown is good. I am not going to call it impure. I will call it, even though it is written explicitly impure, it should be understood as improperly shown. That is impure. And therefore, the text goes ahead. Ayurveda Prakash is comparatively a recent addition to the literature, and it has talked about Shuddhasya Shodhanam Yepat Guna Nityaya Sammatam. Many of the times, even when I was in first year that is we had 3 Ayurveda, I had this question, why should you always go to Sanskrit slope? Why not the translation? That's good enough, because whoever has translated well. It is not so. Please try and understand when the text talks about Shuddhasya Shodhanam. It doesn't say Ashuddhasya Shodhanam. It says Shuddhasya Shodhanam, which means the Shodhan has been done. Again, make it some extra Shodhan. That is known as Vishesha Shodhan. Shuddhasya Shodhanam Yetat Guna Nityaya Sammatam. So it is not just for Mala Vichchedan. It is Guna Nityaya. To increase the potency. In today's language, it will increase the potency. And how? Veshashai Sah Nikvatyo Yatha Vyadhi Harayatu. Which means one would, if appropriately treated with other herbs, it will have the capacity to dismantle the pathophysiology of that particular disease. Samprapti Bhanga is something that we talk about. If we have to attack a particular samprapti, we need to have that much of specific type of food in hand by which we know that it is going to attack at this place and samprapti vigata is taking place. So this is what actually literary research means. This is for those who would like to go for Sanhita MD. Usually, there are many people I have seen over the years. I did not get in Kai Chikitsa, I did not get anywhere, so I went for Ayurvedic Sanhita. It's not so. Sanhita is one of the basics You go deep into it, you will get more and more pearls out of it, and that's what it is. So Vishesh Shodhan, we say, is essential for the results to be delivered to the patient in the best possible way. So Vishesh Shodhan can be done with different Shodhan Dravyas like Amrutatvat, Dashamurtvat, Triparatvat, and fresh Gomutra. Very important in specific conditions where Gomutra is expected to be consumed as Anupan. Is it practically possible even in villages for people to get Anupan, Gomutra as Anupan, and then to consume it with the tablet? They don't do it. And then we say Ayurvedic medicine really don't work that much as mentioned in the text, because the Anupan was said Gomutra. How do we get it? We don't get it. So why not incorporate the benefits or guna of Gomutra into the Gokul itself, by which it goes as, it's not Anu as Sarpan. But the end result is far superior, therefore Vishesh Shodhan is basically for excellence. Now manufacturing process, we will go very fast on this. Gokul is used in different ways. Rudika, Asamarishta, Vasa, Rupa, Yuta, Saila, Arka, but maximum use are Gokul Kalpa. In such conditions, the input materials are Ashuddha Gokul as we get it to be Shodhan, to undergo Shodhan, herbal raw material of different types, Sneha Dravya, wherever mentioned, like whether it is Eranda Taila or whether it is Chatu Taila or whether it is Dhruta, that is what has to be also standardized, and Bhasman, where our Bhasman said, Mahayogaraj Gokul, Panchabhat Loha Gokul have Bhasma as an ingredient in Gokul. This is the Samanya Shodhan Prakriya at the industrial level. This is a double-jacketed copper vessel. Double-jacketed because the vapors are allowed to pass through, by which there is no direct contact of direct heat. It is indirect heat from the vapors, and that is what we actually would like, because the Gokul has been one of the maximum studied substances in the world, and you will find that if the temperature goes above 40, the chances are that some of the Udanashila Dravya, the volatile ingredients in Gokul, will get lost. Naturally, the potency will go down because it is not expected to be lost. And therefore, this temperature needs to be maintained at 40 only and not more. This is the Mandaki, and the continuous stirring goes on. This is the way at the industrial level. You will find the filtering. This is done on a mesh type. That mesh type is also very important because it is a slurry form that we take, and therefore the mesh type cannot be more than 300. Now why we require it, I will not go into it because it is too much of a discussion, but this is what we came to the conclusion after using different mesh sizes. Starting from 500 to down to 100, then we found that maximum impurities or that is insoluble impurities can be separated out without disturbing the original material. That is what we have come down to, and this is Samanya Shodhan Gokul. So first Ashuddha Gokul gets converted into Samanya Shodhan, and then we go in for Vishesh Shodhan. Again, you can see the actual Vishesh Shodhan Prakriya that is being done, and in the steam jacketed vessel, by which the steam jacket comes down, and therefore it is only few bubbles keep on coming and it does not get charged. This is the other huge pan in which the entire thing is downloaded, and it is again Bashpa that goes around, and the heating, you will see this continuously moving. There are people who are placed there. Amruta Vishesh Shodhan, Dashamu Vishesh Shodhan, Tripara Vishesh Shodhan, and fresh Gomutra Vishesh Shodhan Gokul. These are the stock Gokuls that are prepared for using in the end product, Vishesh Shodhan being for efficacy enhancement as well as excellence. So this is the way the Shodhan is done, where Vishesh Shodhan is completed. Then comes the question of herbal raw material. Please try and understand, we can disintegrate or Suttan Prakriya can be used for disintegration, but when it comes to actual industrial level, it is with the help of the machine, and that is where we have to use a machine that is not allowed to raise its temperature. If you use any of the chakki, you will find I don't know how many of you have touched a container, a metal container that has come from Girni, Krishnacha Girni to Naled. Okay. When we touch it, it is hot. Why? Because there is a lot of heat that gets generated. This is not expected to be there, and therefore we have this disintegrator where you will see later also there is, again, that is also water cooled, by which the temperature does not go above 40. If it remains maintained, a substance like Sariva, it gets heated over 40, it will lose its efficacy. What will remain is only the powder or fiber, but the active ingredients will be lost. This is the extraction of Mandakdi to get best possible quartz, or wherever quartz is to be added, this is the way it should be added. So herbal raw material gets converted into either fine churna or in quartz. Uttam Prakriya is something very, very important at industrial level. This is the way the machine has been employed. It is not practically possible for humans to go on pounding. This is the way the Uttam Prakriya is done, and every stage, how many beats per minute can be easily calibrated with the help of machine, and that's the way the entire standardization could be done to get free-flowing putty powder. Even when there is Sneha Dravya that is added while cooked, it should have the end result as a free-flowing one, as you will see later. And then comes the Bhasma Mishran, that is the final end product done with edge runner mill. This is the type of mill or instrument that is used, where it continuously rotates. We can allow this rotation to go on for as long as 24 hours also at a stretch. So that is one additional benefit that goes into the entire material, because definitely more the merrier, wherever it is important to have the crushing done better. So this gives us the fine Bhasma Mishrit Dravya. So this becomes the last stage. Bhasma Mishrit Dravya again has to pass through homogenizer so that there are no clumps that can get formed when it gets dried up. So this is the way the entire thing gets mixed, and then it is passed through an automatic tableting machine by which the tablets are punched, and those punched tablets go directly into what is known as, you will see, as the counter. This is the tablet counter by which, with the GMP and all that coming in, we cannot allow the workers to touch the tablet. So this is the way the packing takes place, and the GST certified department come out with the end product that is packed. So this is the entire process. I will not take too much of your time on this. I will go to the Google cursor directly. Basically, the objective of standards will remain always the same: to establish standards for Ayurvedic products using state-of-the-art technology without compromising the Ayurvedic principles to ensure quality and safety. So application of relevant materials, I am sure all of you are aware and open to the idea of standardization, because that is what Boyd talks about. So at each stage there needs to be standardization done, whether it is the input stage of different materials like Google, herbs, Sneha Dravya and Bhasma, or the process stages like Shodhan, Purlikaran, Quartz Nirman, Uttan, Mishran, and tableting, packing or final product. I will now go over to a small chapter that discusses the quality assurance parameters. Ayurvedic quality assurance is also very important. You can see the Purana Guru picture and the Nama Guru picture very clearly. Even optically you can understand by looking at it. So whatever is given as Varna, Kanti, the Vayo, determination and the Brahmotokta Parikshan has been done. But very importantly, one parameter that has to be added here is optical density standard. This optical density standard has not been mentioned by the CCRS specified parameters. That is very important, because we find and that is able to give us the exacting character. You see this Ashuddha Gugul and see the Samanya and Vishesh Gugul. How you can see the peaks undergoing change, which means certain peaks that were shown in earlier have been obliterated, and the remaining peaks can go up when Vishesh Shodhan is done. That again is a CSC fingerprinting. I will not go into the details of that, but you can make out that 4 different Vishesh Shodhan will have different bands Here you can see a particular band, here you can see length, here you can't see it. This is the beauty of the modern machine being used for Ayurvedic products. We can still use the information of this for batch-to-batch consistency. If incomplete Shodhan is done, these are the types of rashes that we find. This is a patient in the OPD that I had when I was a registrar. I had taken the photo of that. This type of what you call in common parlance, the reaction of the material. So this is what